Welcome to another episode of Carlson and Co. Well, the last few years have left us with this. 2 boxes from all sorts of different manufacturers, but which one's best? I think these are pretty much the 3 top tier. We'll talk about some others that should be on the list but aren't here getting represented. We're gonna test these guys out. I'm gonna let you know why I like them and don't like them. They all have cons. Some of them have more pros than others, and we'll go over those here shortly. You already know how I feel about ToughBuilt Stacktech. Just really sleek, nice big handles, flush front. The look of it, the black, yellow accents, I really like that box. I do like this one as well. The build quality seems really nice on these Makitas. I like the sharp lines. Plastic feels tight and sturdy for sure. Big handles. I'll show you some more video of the Milwaukee. Well, honestly, I thought I'd like these more, but I think I'm just gonna pass on picking them up. Their fit and finish just isn't as good as the ToughBuilt. I think the only area in which they win is the accessibility and accessories that they have readily available at Home Depot, which is killer. If I own Milwaukee stuff, I would probably go with these. I don't, so that is another aspect that doesn't make sense for me, is having a logoed toolbox for something I don't own a bunch of. But yeah, I haven't heard much about anything going wrong with them, though they don't feel cheap. They're just kind of clunky and not super impressive. They definitely have a lot more stuff going on than anyone else, and I'm standing in a Home Depot, so this is readily available. You can just come pick it up. Instead of doing a single drawer, they did this face opening drawer, which is kind of nice. You could see liking that in a shop scenario or in a truck scenario. It just, the way they built it, not that it's not super strong or anything, but just the way they make it look, makes it look a little cheaper, I would say. So comparing the 3, I think ToughBuilt Stacktech has the best looks. Makita would come in number 2 and Milwaukee number 3 for that. So the Packout series, this locking mechanism, which is definitely a miss for Stacktech. I don't know if this is the greatest mechanism made. This is just some plastic holes. I feel like you could break that with a screwdriver. I also feel like you could, if you drop this on the corner, those would snap off, but I've seen like drop tests out of trucks and they're just fine, so I guess not. Drawers lock decently, or close decently. Stacktech does have the mechanism, which latches here, so these just cannot open at all unless you open that. I don't have a drawer unit for Makita, and this guy's got a little bit of use, and even just putting this locking mechanism back in. If you watch really closely here at the top actually has to lift up to get this bar in, and getting it in, whoa, don't. There we go. So yeah, you could do that one-handed. One thing I've noticed that you cannot do one-handed with these is unlock them if they're full of tools. If it's empty, it's not a big deal. You have your button here and it slides out, but even off my tailgate, like, I really can't pull that box because of the angle here, and there's nothing to grip on the bottom of here. Like the Makita has kind of the same mechanism, but actually if you look at it from an angle and get your hands up in there, this is totally full. I'm pulling the whole thing. Try this one. So it slides and up, slides back to lock. Try this one again. Oh, major loss for this one. Makita gets second place. ToughBuilt number 1. Just click, it's off, click in. One-handed operation, awesome. One thing I love about this Makita, which Milwaukee has one as well, is this long kind of tote box. This thing not only opens from both sides, but is just huge inside. I wasn't missing it, but now that I see this, like putting big tools and saws even in the extra large ToughBuilt, which the saw fits, but you can't get much other tools in there, is just a no-brainer. Their boxes also are open elongated, which is interesting. There's not like handles or anything. It's very strange using these other boxes. I guess you just get used to it though. It's not crazy. One thing I noticed between the Milwaukee and the Makita is these are just floating. Which once it's closed, they do sit in this grid system, so I don't think they're going anywhere. But nothing's as tight as the ToughBuilt. Also, if you look at the lid, wobbly. Still, it's Makita, it's gonna hold up, I'm sure. It's just a lot different than what I'm used to with the Stacktech. My box is a little beat up, but this is the hardware tote. These boxes do not move. Barely move. These boxes barely move. Compared to the Milwaukee's the same way as well as the Makita. These are just totally floating. Which again, once it's locked down with the grid, same thing with the Makita, once it's locked down, not really going anywhere. But these boxes are just fine-tuned. So let's compare these two smaller boxes, and I'll show you why I chose Stacktech over, not that the Makitas were out, but over Milwaukee. It's that one-handed release. Oh, that one's unlocked already. So to pull a box down, you got handles on both sides. You got a handle on the front if you want to suitcase it. You just set it down, it's locked in. Like, amazing. Let's take a look. So you got the ToughBuilt small box. You got the Makita small box. They are definitely different in size, but they're equivalent in what you're going to store in it. So depending on, I think Makita is aiming this more at like a truck box that you would slide out and be able to get into from the side. Also, if you notice the height of that stacked up, it's perfect for a tonneau cover for really any truck. These single toolboxes, these small ones, are probably the only thing that I even like. Not that they're better than anyone else, but they're stout. They have kind of the same option as the ToughBuilt on the inside. So the Makita is like water resistant, waterproof, but it's not rated. The ToughBuilt and most of the Milwaukee Packout stuff is IP65. And these drawers are not rated. They don't have any sealant around the top for both the ToughBuilt and the Milwaukee. But reports from me, I've never had any water in there, and I've driven with those in the back of the truck in the rain, left them out. And I've heard that with the Milwaukee as well, that you really don't get any water in the drawers anyway. And then this, I guess we'll just see. They look like they're IP65, they're just not rated. So who cares, I guess, about ratings. Sorry for dissing on Milwaukee so much. I just had to rag on them because so many people just love them so much. And they're just, I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're as good as you think. I am really impressed with these. These feel really sturdy, thick plastic. I think those are gonna hold up a long time. I do think these Milwaukee's will hold up a long time. I don't think you'll have a problem if you drop them out of your truck. Same with these. I really like the styling of the ToughBuilt. They're really well made. Nothing is broken on mine. They've done great. Look great, work great. I would say the big reason why I went with ToughBuilt as well is I'm a Bosch Metabo user. And in this whole box ecosystem, I just didn't want to carry around the red toolboxes. It would help if we got the black ones from Europe. And then Makita came out after I already bought those, but even with Makita, I don't have any Makita tools, so it didn't really make sense. I do actually really like the DeWalt system. I hope they come out with some more boxes. What they have right now, other than the boxes that are like everybody else, are just a little bit too big and short for what I do, but I think that whole system is really cool. I could see if you were set up on a job site for a long time and having that drawer system and stuff would be really sweet. I just don't like the idea of hauling it. Also, the 2-in-1 cart, which I did a review on, I'm hoping they fix that stuff. I will give it a try again, because having that cart system kind of fixes that for me with the ToughBuilt. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is when is ToughBuilt ever going to release any of their accessories. If you remember the wall from Home Depot with Milwaukee, that is a really huge reason why you should look at these boxes, is you can just walk right into your Home Depot and they pretty much have everything. Makita's, you can go down there and buy these too. They don't have as big as range, I think, to like buy in store as Milwaukee, but they're readily available. ToughBuilt has all of its basic boxes that you've seen, the ones I have. They do have some really cool boxes coming out in the future, hopefully. I really don't see them or know when those are coming out. They made a push to get into some more stores. They've made a push to sell in Europe, which I think is a good idea for the company, but for us, I think it slows down the production of us getting new things, which kind of sucks. Let's talk about where these are manufactured. Milwaukee Packout, US company, but these are made in Israel. Not a bad thing, but just know that. Makita, these are actually engineered, designed, and built in the US, which is cool if you're from the US. If you're not, you probably don't care too much. And then ToughBuilt, they're designed, tested, engineered in the US, but they are manufactured in China, which I don't think makes a difference with the Stacktech boxes. But there are some tools that we've seen that maybe are not as great as they could be. But a brand like ToughBuilt isn't out there making the most expensive tools, so I'm not too worried about that. The boxes have lived up to everything I expected. So all these boxes have their own innovations. This one locks, but again, that plastic ring, like I was saying as well, is if you have access to the box, you can take it home, and I think you can get into that pretty easily on the job site as well. So I rated these within a point system I'm not going to explain because I just made it up. And I went over the major points that I just talked about in the video and tallied up all the scores, and they actually all tied. And I want to go over why they tied. They all got 7 points. The ToughBuilt destroyed in styling and functionality and waterproofness. The Milwaukee destroyed in accessibility and accessories, as well as being waterproof. And the Makita just did really well all around. Manufacturing in the United States, it's waterproof enough. They all tied. So now you have to figure out, do you want something that looks amazing, functions really well, and does really well? Do you want something manufactured in the United States? Are you a Makita owner? If you're a Milwaukee or Makita owner, I think your answer's made up there. If you're not, and you don't like the boxes your manufacturer makes, I think ToughBuilt's probably the way to go for you. It was for me, and I'm really happy with my decision. The failures of it is, there's just a couple things I really don't like about the box. Just the functionality of them, I wasn't a big fan of, especially the way it locks down and getting boxes off. You can open these when everything's closed, as well as this guy I think I showed in the beginning. This is a huge plus for people, but like, this thing's full of tools, but you can get it open and you can get stuff off. But if it was the bottom box, I don't think it'd be worth it. But that is nice to have. This one also opens from both sides, which is pretty cool. Just the look of these, functionality, just a couple nitpicky things that a non-Milwaukee owner would pick out. Otherwise, really good box. I've heard great things about them. I know lots of people that own them, have no problems. Just a couple things that bother me. Slide out, things like that. This is a rather new box to the group, but plastic, everything feels great. Feels really high quality. Everything's really tight. Metal where it needs to be metal. It is somewhat waterproof, though it's not rated. Manufactured in the United States. Awesome. ToughBuilt, I've loved these boxes since I got them. The accessory rails are amazing. Just super happy with everything, especially the one-handed use, so I can hold the camera and record stuff. I was just looking at this, and if somebody could make like 3D print or whatever you got to do, a little attachment here that would attach and just cover the edges of this so you couldn't open the drawers with a little lock on it, because basically these attachments you squeeze and it pushes those legs together to pull them out. So if they were opened, And you could basically just flip it around, shove it on there when you want them open, flip it around, shove it on there, and it block these from opening. I think that'd be the simplest way to lock these, is to add an accessory. So go ahead, ToughBuilt Stacktech, you can give me credit for that. All right, I thought I'd have another great test. This Milwaukee does kind of the same sliding feature, so these will be pretty close, though I think this one's easier. These both have tools in them, so they're both about equal weight. I think the Makita's probably heavier, but anyway, it's the pickup test. Versus this box might be a little new. That handle's pretty stiff. Okay. Which one's cooler? All right, so Stacktech says rolling boxes and locking drawer sets coming in May next month. I'd love to see it. If you guys can wait until May and they do release that and you're looking for something else, like they've restocked these now, it's no big deal. But if you were waiting for something new to come out and they release what they said they're gonna release in May, I think it gets them back on track for trust. I think we will see some new stuff, regardless of if those come out in May or not. They're definitely working on it for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. 6 months ago, they announced that they're going to be here in May and do it. So let's do it, Stacktech. Coming up, we're going to be doing a series on a special build project out here where I'm at right now. The sound in the background isn't giving it away at all, but I just wanted to say we are going to be doing a giveaway during that series. So if you guys are interested in seeing more of what we do professionally, subscribe. Well, thanks for joining me on another episode here. I hope I went over these boxes in enough detail for you to make a educated decision. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. If you want me to add on to anything, add some tools, do a little work, you actually want to see me work for once, just let me know in the comments. Take it easy.